for those. All right, good morning, everybody. Welcome back from the holiday weekend. Hopefully you all had a great weekend, whether you're working or you spent it with your family. Did anybody get to enjoy the fireworks or any fireworks?
We could actually see them from our street on Corte Madera. I go halfway down the block and then the neighbors come out and we all sit out there and watch them. Pretty cool.
That's great. I was talking to Holly, I don't see her online, and she was saying that to walk down to the sports park, she said it felt like half of the amount of people that would usually be there were there. So it was pretty surprising to get there, almost right when the fireworks started, and they didn't have a problem finding a seat. So that was surprising. So let's talk about, before we get to the big news, let's talk about something good. What happened good with you guys last week?
I had an escrow close.
Yay! Congratulations, Gay.
Thank you.
I got a new coming soon listing, and so very excited about that.
I'm going to show all the listings because it's been a while since we've gone on the MLS. So I know you have a couple photos on there. We'll go ahead and pitch that. What else good news? Any other good news this week? Why is Adam all blurry? That's funny. All right, well, how about, we have a ton of birthdays this month. I can't believe it. So I'm just gonna name off all the birthday people because we got so many. Adam, Jason, Christina Morrison, Shelly, Marianne, Jill, Shauna, and Tina, all July birthdays. We have a ton of them this month. Yay. Shauna's like, I'll be taking gifts all month. Anyway, so the big announcement, let's talk about the big announcement. It was a big announcement for me too. I had no idea what was happening. Hopefully all of you watched the video last week, and the big announcement is that we are now a corporate-owned Berkshire Hathaway company. So I'm sure that you've read on the footer of all of our marketing materials, each office is independently owned and operated, and that's not the case anymore. We are not a franchise necessarily of Berkshire Hathaway. However, we are a franchise of Home Services of America now. So in case you're wondering, are your franchise fees going away? No. But what I will say, I want to talk about what the changes you might see coming to you. So first and foremost, in the beginning, nothing is going to change for you. We are still Berkshire Hathaway Home Services California Properties. That will always remain the same. What you are now a part of is a member of the largest real estate company in America and even on the planet. Honestly, Home Services of America is that huge. So something to be proud of, and also know that should we go to bad times where we're either, heaven forbid, another pandemic or another crisis, we are backed by a huge financial entity, and we're not going anywhere. So you should still feel safe in knowing that this office will never, ever close up because we're backed by such a large company. As far as the way things feel for you guys, nothing changes. We do have a couple of changes that will be coming down the pipe. Prosperity Home Mortgage is going to be replacing Axia. I know that's no change for you guys because we never saw Axia anyway, but we might start seeing Prosperity coming into our offices. I haven't looked to see where their locations are, but be prepared to have them be involved, and also probably have some changes with our affiliated business forms coming soon. As far as what's going to happen with Mark and Gordon and Darren, all of our upper management, they definitely took about half of the load off of their plate because Home Services of America takes care of some of the things that they were doing. And so I think Mark mentioned that in his video. So we'll be seeing more of Mark, and he'll be coming to the offices more. We'll be doing more live events. with him. And so he'll be helping our agents thrive, as that's what he loves to do. So other than that, are there any other questions you guys have? I am meeting with the leadership team this afternoon, so I'd be happy to ask any questions of Mark and Gordon that I'm not sure of.
Are escrow and title staying the same?
Yes, for now, everything is staying the same. Everybody's coming along for the ride. And what will be happening in the future is we will be introducing services to you that we currently don't have. So whatever Home Services of America has in their repertoire of tools, if we're not currently using it, we will be introducing them to you. So you'll have more tools. I know, gosh, we already have so many, but if there's anything that we believe will benefit you, then we will be bringing those to the table.
So we'll
Hannah?
still have the back two then also access to
Yes, we
that.
will.
Okay.
As a matter
okay.
of fact, Home Services and Gino like the VAC so much, they want to incorporate it with other of our Home Services team. So they're definitely interested in using that with other Berkshire Hathaway offices. We'll see how that goes. So it's good that Mark built a great program.
Shannon, will this affect our insurance, E&O insurance costs, as well as our compensation arrangements that we had with Mark?
Nope. Mark says everything is remaining the same as far as the agents are concerned.
Oh,
Now, staff-wise, of course, we have some changes because we're not owned necessarily by Americana LLC, but for you guys, it's the status quo as we've been running.
You stay, right?
I'm staying.
Okay, that's good. Just checking.
Sean,
That's an
is
interesting thought. I never even considered that would be a question.
what about Shauna? Is she staying?
Yes.
Yay!
She's the backbone of this office. She has to stay or else I go crazy.
Yeah.
All right. Well, if you guys think of something that you have not asked, feel free to text me or email me and I'll ask at our management meeting this afternoon.
Shannon,
So-
I have one more question. Do all our signs, door hangers, business cards, all that stay the same for now?
Yes, yes, all of those stay the same. So you don't have to do anything more. Now, what will be most likely changing is as we create, the marketing material that we had previously, like I said, that has that little disclaimer at the bottom. We'll have to change those disclaimers, but it's not enough of a change that you have to change your business cards and signs or anything. We're still the same company that we were last week. Okay. All right, so let's talk about, it's been a while since we've talked about new listings. So let me jump into the MLS here and let's talk about what's coming up. Jill, you want to talk about your coming soon listing on Heather Way?
Sure, it's probably the nicest, least expensive home in South Temecula. Detached condo, does have a little backyard, all done up cute inside. I think it used to be a model at the beginning. I'm not 100% sure on that. But we're going to go active on tomorrow for showings on Saturday. So if you guys have anybody, it's a great little house. Got 3 bedrooms and then a retreat off the master bedroom. That I guess was a builder option that it could have been a 4th bedroom with a door going in from the hall.
You really got the gray going on there.
How
What's that?
much, Jill?
$499,800.
Ooh.
Very nice. Also, Jill or whoever has new listings, if you need an open house, we've got lots of new agents that are eager to hold open houses. So let me know, or let me or Shauna know so we can let the agents know. All right, Donna, you want to talk about your new listing coming soon?
So this is a unique property. It has 3 living space. It has a 3-bedroom, 3-bath, 2-story house, main house. And it has 2 1-bedroom cottages on it with small kitchenettes. They don't really have ovens and that in it, but you can put microwave and toaster ovens. It's on 9.78 acres. It has an enchanted garden with a walking trellis pathway, a gazebo. Even in the backyard, it has a little chapel and a dollhouse, which is literally a little tiny house out there. It could be a playhouse, and it's full of dolls. Now, the personal property doesn't stay, but it's really cute. They've had weddings. They've had a wedding there, and it came out beautiful. Unfortunately, this spring, they had a late frost after all the plants and flowers started blooming, and it killed them all off. It burned them all off. So none of the plants are showing, you know, pretty for pictures right now, but they're all coming back. They didn't get killed. So the front part of the property has a flat area where you could put animals, additional parking if you were going to make it a wedding venue. They had 200 cars parked out front. There's 2 containers in the front portion of the property that are going to stay. They have like a fake fascia in front of them, so it kind of looks like a barn, so they're hidden if you are having events there. The property needs a little cosmetic work, but there's a art studio on the property. There's several outbuildings, so an art studio, a detached garage or workshop, storage area. It just has so much potential there with a lot of buildings. And it's offered right now at $689,000 with showing starting July 23rd.
So all the buildings are not shown in these pictures yet.
Not yet.
Okay.
We have a professional photo shoot this weekend, so.
Cool. Very nice. All right, let's see who's next. Homer, is Homer on here? I don't think I saw him. All right, well, Homer's got a home in Los Angeles. We actually, I think we had this listed before, but anyway, it's a 2-bedroom, 2-bath, 1639 square feet, listed at $950,000, built in 1935. We only have a couple of photos because the professional photos haven't been taken yet. So if you have anybody looking in that area, contact Homer. I have my Biggs Lane back up for sale. I know some of you may remember this one from a year ago. The price went up to $20,000. It's a 1/4 acre. It's basically in Quail Valley. It's a pie-shaped lot on a cul-de-sac. And this is a picture of the flattest area. And yeah, let me know if you have anybody interested. This is the view from the front of the property. So that would depend on how you built the house, but let me know. And then I also have a listing in Canyon Lake. It is vacant, so if anybody wants to host an open house, feel free. It is 1979 era. It still has all of the 79 charm to it. It does back up to Railroad Canyon. So it is within the gate, but it's like right inside the gate. So it's 1471 square feet, 3 bedrooms, 2 baths, and it's on a pretty good, decent sized lot. It just needs some help with updating everything. So if anyone has any interest in hosting an open house or has a buyer, actually all this garbage is gone now and the carpets have been cleaned. It's actually a really good, it's got good bones, just needs some updating. So let me know on
Which
that.
is that?
So that's listed at $469. And then the HOA there is $303 a month.
Okay.
All right, is Linda Land on? I don't see her. Okay, I think she talked about all these lots. She's got a bunch of lots that are being sold separately and together. So take a look at those, but those are all the most recent updated listings. So let's talk about the market stats here for a second. So in the last 7 days, we had 191 new listings in the Temecula Valley, 272 went pending, 243 closed. All of Temecula Valley, there's 562, and that is up about 100 from the last time I ran these stats. As far as Temecula only, Temecula City, there's 155 active, and the lowest price this week is $490,000. So, wow. All of Riverside County, we're sitting at 2,286. Are you guys finding, did anybody show property over the weekend?
I did on Friday.
Yeah, and is anybody seeing that we're getting more inventory? Are you feeling like the inventory is coming online? What do you feel like?
Yeah, I don't see prices really coming down, but I do see a few more homes.
Like maybe lingering a little bit longer. I feel like a lot of people went on vacation over the last couple of weeks and school's been out, so that could be why homes may be staying a little bit longer. I was just curious. All right, so as far as also talking with Darren last week, you guys probably saw in CRMLS, the eviction moratorium was updated. So the federal eviction moratorium was extended to July 31st, but California's was extended through September 30th. That doesn't really have a whole lot of impact on us unless you have listings that have tenants that were impacted by coronavirus. Also know that there's 100% rental assistance for both landlords and tenants. And that was previously only 80%. So if any landlords had been approved previously for the 80%, they're going to automatically get the extra 20%. They don't have to reapply. So if you know any landlords that are not getting full payment because of coronavirus, have them take a look at that assistance. It's really helpful. I wanted to beat this form one more time, the home fire hardening form. I'm going to show you. So let's see. All right. So again, nothing's changed in a week's time with the home fire hardening form. So I just wanted to reiterate, it is not a required form if the NHD shows that it's not in a high fire hazard zone. And also an update from Riverside County. The fire marshal says they are not going to be adopting local fire ordinances. They're just going to be in compliance with the state's clearance levels. So hopefully we could put that to bed and nothing will change, but we'll see what happens in the next week.
Hey, Shannon.
Yeah.
Shannon, yesterday at the association meeting, someone from one of the NHD companies was a breakfast sponsor, so they were talking, and they had what I thought was a pretty good suggestion. They said that, you know, if you order your NHD first and it shows the high fire danger, then you could actually have that in your supplements and have the paper where they sign off on that acknowledgement, ask for that with your offer. And then that's something that you don't have to wait for as a further, you know, you've got it already signed off when you're reviewing offers, if you're in a multiple offer situation.
Right, that's a good point. I wanted to show you guys, thank you for that. Did you go also, you were there for the, they had a speaker?
Yes, yeah.
Did you learn anything new on the Prop 19 stuff?
I did a little bit, which, all right, number one, the county said, they explained that, you know, they don't do any of their work until the recorders handed it off to them. And right now, the recorder is just starting to hand off to them April closings. So they haven't actually done any that are affected by Prop 19 yet. And there's some clarification they're waiting for regarding what the definition is of severely disabled, which is kind of vague. But they did explain how they're applying, because the big change with Prop 19 versus the 6091 was the new property the person buys does not have to be of lesser value. So the example they gave is, say you have someone that had a home and its base value rate was appraised, its base value was 200,000, and they sell it for 500,000. So there's a 300,000 difference between the two, and they want to move that 200,000 base to the new property. If the new property is less value, like it's a $400,000 house, then they will get directly that 200,000 value as their base value for their property taxes. So they'll have a $200,000 gain basically on cutting that down. If they buy a more expensive house, say they buy $1 million house, then they move over the difference, which is 500,000 minus 200,000. So they get a 300,000 reduction on their property taxes to 700,000. And that has a maximum of $1 million that it can be reduced by. So say it was a really high expensive property, the most gain they can ever get is $1 million. But the other thing that came up, which is confusing, and maybe people, if you are you have sellers right now, the county said you would have to talk to them to clarify this. But if they want to move that gain, it has to be an owner occupied property. And if you, I'm sorry, if you have buyers and your buyer is allowing the seller to rent back for an extended period of time, it's not directly an owner occupied property. So you would have to talk to the county about whether they would allow that to count and transfer that property tax base, because it's not, you don't get confused by that 2-year rule. That 2-year rule is how soon you have to buy the property, and you're supposed to occupy it right away. So that's a gray area right now that we're granting these long occupancies by the sellers. So just watch out for that. That was it.
Awesome. Thanks for going and getting that information. So you guys know that the association is back to live meetings, and they've been, I don't think they even had that guest panel on Zoom yesterday. So I was hoping that you would go to that. I have.
Connie mentioned, I guess they're not doing Zoom at all anymore. So any of the committee meetings, everything, everybody's back to live now. So.
Okay, good to know. All right, so I just pulled up the Sky Slope checklist just to point out a couple of things. With all the changes that we've had, our commissions team hasn't fully changed everything over in the checklist. So I wanted to point out, like, if you see a PED form on your checklist, we know it's no longer required as of June 15th. If you had the property listed prior to June 15th and people saw it and this buyer, then we would, obviously we want to see the PED. But I also wanted to point out that you're going to start seeing these question marks coming up to remind you when things are needed and not needed. Because these light blue lines are only if applicable, and the if applicable is got the information on the question marks here. So if you're still confused about when something is required and not required, just talk to Shauna or myself and we can help clarify that. Hello. Also, I wanted to, can you guys see this checklist? Okay, so Legendary Escrow did a really great thing by providing these escrow opening checklists. I don't know if Yvonne is on. I don't.
Oh, no, Shannon, we're still seeing your Sky Slope checklist.
Okay, hold, please hold. Let me share. How about this? Can you see this one now?
Now we see it. Yeah.
Okay, so these were just emailed to everybody this week. So if you ever, and we'll be going over these checklists also when we do our new agent training next Tuesday, which is basically on contract management. But it's just a reminder of the things that are going to be required, whether you're working with a seller or a buyer when you open escrow. So great little checklist. You might want to print a couple out to have handy just to remind yourself what's required when you open escrow. And then last thing before I move on to Mark's video of the week is I wanted to tell you guys that you may or may not have been jumping on the Canva videos training classes. I mean, Canva is a very easy program to operate for your marketing pieces. But if you missed any of those, when you come into the VAC and you go to, I just did that very fast, resources and training videos, all the corporate training videos are here, and there's 3 Canva videos. It's very easy once you get through it. I think that the trainer, at least on one of them, is from our marketing department. So take a look at those if you want to learn more about Canva. And then that's all I have. I wanted to show you guys. I know we're zoomed out, and I'm sorry I did Zoom today, but I just felt like I had a kind of a quick meeting, so I didn't want everyone to drive in. But in case you didn't see Mark's Facebook video of the week, I thought it was really, really important as business owners and also just personally to learn some of the lessons that Mark learned on building your personal savings and wealth. So let's take a look at this. Let me make sure you guys can hear this. And go.
Hello, everyone. Once again, here we are, Facebook Live, as we are every Tuesday, 1:30 Pacific Standard Time. Today, we're on the 9th topic in our series of 10 key topics in driving your business and personal life forward. And today's topic is extremely personal, I think, to every person, because we're going to talk about building personal savings and personal wealth. Now, I have 7 tips that I personally follow that I'm going to share with you today. Now, some of you might have some other tweaks, and if they work, continue to use them. If you disagree with any of these tips, I'd love to really hear your thought process on that. So send me messages regarding your thought process of how you see investing a little bit different. All right, so let me jump in on my 7 tips. First of all, when we talk about savings and we talk about building wealth, we really got to get our head in the game. And if you don't have your head in the game, you know, you're going to make a lot of empty promises to yourself, in my personal opinion. So let's start with, what do we need to do to get our head in the game? Well, number one, if you don't have a revenue driving focus, what is there to save? How are you building wealth if you're not driving the original revenue to begin with? So if you really want to get building wealth and having the opportunity to create something that you don't have today, then you got to start generating revenue. So step 1, okay, of my 7 tips is start with a plan to drive revenue. Yes, this has all to do with your DRC, your daily revenue commitment. But if you don't have a commitment to that, I'm going to be real blunt. You don't have a commitment to savings, and you don't have a commitment to building wealth. You need to generate revenue. All right. Now, I'm even going to go as far as to say is, you know, we make budgets, but do you have a revenue budget? Do you really have it so deep into your mindset, into your body, into your thoughts that you know this is the revenue that I have to generate every single week, every single month, every single quarter. I am clear in what I have to do because I want to have X left over for savings, Y for investment, you know, Z for bills, whatever the case may be. All right, so revenue driving, goals around revenue of what you're trying to do. And I have to tell you, I cannot impress upon you more of how consistency in this area will, you know, when you think about winning or losing in any investment, start here. Because if you back off of your consistency on driving revenue, most expensive hit you'll take to your investing strategy. All right, number 2, get clarity on exactly what you want to accomplish. And not only what you want to accomplish, but ultimately why you want to accomplish that. And here's what's so important about that. You know, if I ask most people on their investing strategy, they want to make as big a return as possible. And let me tell you, you could have some big years where you do some great returns. But what I have found over time, if you don't have clarity on what you're really trying to accomplish, you'll make a lot of mistakes. Because you'll go for it, and you will win sometimes. And then you'll go for it, and you'll lose sometimes. My advice to you is 1, get clarity on specifically what you want to accomplish. And when you ask yourself, why do I want to accomplish that? It solidifies, this is why. And this is why I'm so clear what I want my returns to be, because I know exactly what I'm going to use those monies for. You know, the other key with this is when you're clear on what you want to accomplish, your risk and your goals can be aligned. If someone says, I want to make 25, 30% every single year, well, clearly that individual is going to have to take a lot more risk trying to generate 25% return year in and year out. Or someone else might say, you know, I figured it out. If I hit a 7% return, it gives me what I'm looking to accomplish. So why would I want to take more risk than I'd have to take that I would on a 7% return? Guys, and don't get me wrong, if you find a great investment and it makes sense and it sounds like, you know what, I've done my homework, I'm going to go for it, we'll go for it. But I'm talking to you on a steady diet. Be clear what you want to earn. And my opinion, don't take undue risks when you don't have to, if you're going to get what you need and it's going to provide you what you want. Next, there is no way you can be a good investor if you're paying interest on credit cards. It just doesn't work that way. There's no quality investor who is paying credit card interest rates and then really getting excited about a return that they're making. No one can make that return on a consistent basis. You know, I've even heard Warren Buffett himself speak about that, you know, he can't make returns on a consistent basis at, you know, some of these cards ultimately are 20+%. All right, so you've got to get the credit cards paid off. You cannot do credit card debt and then you're going to focus on building wealth and saving money. All right, so get done with those. Number 4. We talked about budgeting savings at the beginning, or I should say we talked about budgeting revenue. I want you to budget savings as well. See, you know, people spend time budgeting expenses, and I think that's important, all right? Certainly you don't want to go out there and just, no matter what you make, you spend it all. That's an absolute error. Certainly, you also don't want to, you know, in our business, you make a great commission, and the first thing you do is you go buy a huge luxury item. Come on. You know what? To me, I'm going to put that in a class of common sense. No, don't do that. It makes no sense. However, I am going to tell you this, and I've done this through my whole life once I got into real estate and started making a little bit of money, okay, which turned into a lot of bit of money. And that is this, that when I budgeted my savings, I was more laxed on my spending, meaning this, I didn't want to live like a hermit. And I didn't need to live like a hermit as long as I had my revenue focus and I stayed clear on what I needed to earn on an ongoing basis. See, I'd rather put in the time, and you may not be this same mindset. I'd rather put in the additional time to ensure I'm getting the revenue I need and give myself some flexibility on the expense side. Again, no, I wasn't going out there and buying huge luxury items anytime I made dollars. However, when I wanted to do something, I would do it. And I wouldn't look back and sit there and go, I'm not allowed to do that. I can't spend those dollars today. I'm going to live like a hermit. And I know there's a lot of books that talk about this, that, you know what, you got to live like a hermit for many, many years, and then you save money. And you know what, that may work. I didn't use that plan of attack. I didn't overspend. I enjoyed my life, but I had a clear number that I needed to spend, or that I needed to save on a monthly basis. And I would say 99% of the time I went over that number in putting dollars away. And it's different for every single person. So you want to get clear on, what do I want to save? You know, my mother, may she rest in peace, used to always tell me and say, you know, Mark, whatever you make, put 50% away. I'm not saying I did that, but put 50% away and then go have fun with the other 50%. I didn't use those percentages, but I have to say overall, I did follow that rule. I enjoyed my life, but I paid myself first. I paid myself first and put those dollars away knowing, okay, relax and go have a good time and enjoy life. All right? So keep that in mind. Budget your savings, still budget your expenses, but budget your savings and pay yourself first. One more thing. I would suggest that if you are going to buy any type of luxury item, I want you to buy the luxury items that have a one-time purchase. So what that means is this, that, all right, you're going to go out and you're going to buy this killer vacation. You're going to buy whatever, a luxury item, but you have the money, you buy it, and you're done. It's not a drain on you on a monthly basis. So if you buy a big luxury car and you lease it, all right, well, you put a little bit of money down and now that's draining you on a monthly basis. Not a good plan of attack. So if you're going to do it, go for those one-time luxury items. You can't do it all the time, but it's something you really wanted. Go for those one-time luxury items that you can just pay off and not have it affecting ongoing monthly cash flow. All right. That was 4. Number 5, and that is follow 4-in-1 rule if you're investing in residential homes. Let me tell you what the 4-in-1 rule is, and it always protected me. For every 4 homes that I own, at least one, could be more, but one has to be free and clear. See, I've seen a lot of people leverage up their purchases. So they want to buy as many as they can, thinking that's going to protect me. Well, 2 errors comes along these lines. One, I find that people will spread themselves too thin in that scenario. Okay, that's number 1. And number 2, when people tend to do that, they tend to lose sight on cash flow, okay, versus asset, and which is our next one, is I want you to think cash flow, all right? Number 6 is cash flow, not so much asset. So before you'll commit to an asset, whatever the asset is, be it a residential home or not, you want to make sure that it drives cash flow. And as long as it drives cash flow, you can do that. Now, for me, instead of, even if it was a positive cash flow, I would want one of those homes, in my example, out of the 4 free and clear. Because if I had a free and clear house, 1, the cash flow is a beautiful thing on that one house. 2, I could use that to pay down another house. And remember, you do that one at a time. So you're not trying to pay down 5 houses at the same time, or even your other 3. One house at a time. You pay off one, and then you fight to pay off the other. I don't put any other monies down unless I'm putting it down on one additional asset. Why? Because my goal is to fight to pay that asset off. Once that asset is free and clear, then that's a beautiful thing. Now, here's another little aspect of this. I would never pay down, specifically on a residential house, and I know a lot of people do this, so like I said at the beginning, you may disagree, but I would never pay down a residential home, all right, by giving the cash to that asset without having it paid off. So how do I do that? Well, I would have a separate account that I would put those savings in that they are earmarked to pay off house B. I've already got, let's say, house A paid off, but I'm fighting to pay down house B. I would have that separate account and it's there. And the time I would pay it off would be when I could do it as a lump sum. What I never want you to do is pay off a portion, even half of an asset. Because here's what happens. When you pay down an asset, your current payment stays the same. So you've still got the same risk of outlay of cash flow. If I'm going to use my cash for something, then I'm going to stop or lower my outlay of cash flow. So that's why when you refinance something, well, then you can put more down because your payment's changing. Your payment was $1,500 a month, and now with the refi, the additional cash you're putting down, it's dropping to $900 a month. Okay, that makes sense to me. You're lowering your cash flow, so go for it. But if you're not lowering your cash flow, I would use a separate savings account earmarked for what you want to do. Wait till you save enough money, which, by the way, for me was a motivator. Okay, it was a revenue generating motivator because I wanted to make more money because I wanted to get that house paid off quicker. And now I have that money there, and now when I pay it off, I've got house number 2 free and clear. And of course, cash flow in that scenario is great. And last point on this is if you ever do need access to capital, a residential home that's free and clear, regardless of what the value did, because the market adjusted and the value came down, whatever, the cash flow many times in a down market goes up. People need to live somewhere. And I still have access to cash because I've got free and clear assets to work on. All right, I know there was a lot of information there, but there was a lot of rules that came tied to that one rule of things that were really important when I buy residential real estate. All right, and number 7, invest in what you know and or at least that you know what you're going to do to exit if things change. You know, I'm not a stock guy. It's not my expertise, all right? However, any dollars that I do invest in stocks, I agree with myself that that's going to be untouched. See, my exit strategy in stock for me personally is I'm not going to exit because I know the market will ebb and flow, but over time, could be a very, very long time, over time, I know stocks are going to be okay. Well, if that's true, then Mark, time is your enemy, and you certainly don't want to have to pick the wrong time out of necessity. So for me, I invest less in stock portfolio. However, the money I do invest in stocks is untouchable. I'm never going to need it. I make sure I'm not going to need it. I have other savings put aside. That's why revenue driving is so important. As you can see here, there's a lot of the buckets of dollars, and the only way you get those buckets of dollars is you're generating revenue. That's why I started it with number 1, and it's your most important focus. Each and every day, you're generating revenue, and then out of those monies, you have clarity of where each of those points are going. But ultimately, if you're investing in stocks, my opinion is keep timing on your side, and that means I can leave that money there as long as I possibly want. Hey, if the market's doing great and you want to pull out some of those, that's not a problem. But I never want you in a situation where, oh my God, the market's down, I have to pull it out. In fact, what professionals will tell you is that when the market goes down, and if it's down in a steep way, putting more money in the market at that time that you can leave alone and not touch is probably a much better move. All right. In conclusion, building savings and building wealth, to me, the number one is a thought process. And you've got to really be committed to yourself, your business, and your plan of attack if it's going to be effective. Nothing better than time and compound interest. I will tell you, it's a beautiful thing. And you add to that a focus on cash flow and build your cash flow over time. I truly believe you will build lots of savings. You can build great substantial wealth, and you will be a happy, happy camper, and you'll make money without even getting out of bed. And that's a beautiful thing. Have a great week, everybody.
All right, that's enough. I'm sorry that was a long one, but I thought it was really timely since we are halfway through the year and everybody should be reviewing, taking a look at your goals for the year and making adjustments as needed. Hopefully everybody is needing to make adjustments up because they're having such a great year. I wanted to reiterate though, Mark and Rick both talk about their DRC a lot, and DRC stands for Daily Revenue Commitment. And what that means to us is it's a lead measure. So the lead measure for us as agents is contacts, and how many contacts is it going to take you to get down the road to have a contract and then have a closing and then have this revenue. So for those of you that I am coaching on a weekly, monthly basis, I ask you about calls or contacts because that's your DRC, and I want to hear how are you doing with those types of commitments, because that's what's going to get you down the road to get you to closing more transactions. So something to think about. I thought that was a great video. I'm very much a saver myself, so I always like to hear what everybody else does. And Mark's, if you've never heard how he started investing, it's kind of a fun story to hear how he bought his first condos and things like that. I think we have a recording somewhere on YouTube of that one. Anyway, let me get back to, I just want to go over what's coming up for trainings. So you guys saw the email this week that I changed the Sky Slope live training to next week because we have so many out or that were begging me to move it. So as far as trainings this week, tomorrow we have, let me back up for a sec. So Chris is now traveling again. So he's going to be back in offices doing live trainings, and he will be in the Lake Elsinore office towards the end of the month. So check the VAC calendar, and I'll remind you too. But if you learn better being face-to-face with somebody where they can come look at your computer, come to the live classes when Chris is in town. But this week, we've got online meetings. We've got Buy Side tomorrow at 1 o'clock, and then how to use your mobile app at 3 o'clock. And if you're not even sure not familiar with the mobile app, since we are getting back to doing open houses, it would be great to have a reminder of how to use that to get contact information from people coming through the open houses. This Friday, we have training with Land with Title. We're going to be going over preliminary reports and how to read them. So for those of you who need a refresher or those who don't have a clue, because you're new, if you want to learn how to read and what to look for on a preliminary title report, I'm going to be doing that Friday at 10 o'clock online. So you could stay home if you want to. And Michelle's going to be going through it page by page. And then next week, on Monday, new agent orientation. So those of you who are still new to the company and not sure what we have, that's online on Monday at 10 o'clock. And then, anyway, we've got a couple of different things going on. Tuesday, we have, like I said, I have a new agent startup series, and it's every Tuesday at 11, but everybody's invited. So if you need a refresher on how to manage your transaction once you get into escrow, that's Tuesday at 11. It's a live class. And then, of course, Thursday, we'll be doing the Sky Slope training. So that's all I have today. I guess it did go a little longer than I thought, but that's because Mark talked for 20 minutes. Anybody have any more updates that they want to throw out there? I know we lost a few people here. Nope. Okay, well, Shauna and I are here all week, so hope to see you guys in the office. Thank you so much for coming. I appreciate all of your faces or names, because I just see names on the screen. Only about like 4 faces, that's about it. So have a wonderful week.
Thanks, Shannon.
You're welcome.